Today I'll be showing you how to make the design on the left, which is the back of my deco deck from my new Deco Dolls collection. I'll be using the two images on the right as my reference images. So we are currently in Adobe Fresco. This is free on the iPad, and one of the reasons why I use this as my preferred drawing app is because it has these vector brushes. I'm going to click on the vector brush here up in the left-hand corner. And as you can see, there's a couple of different kinds. I'm just going to show you all the different kinds. But basically, I always use this sort of round brush. It's very easy to use, and you can actually draw a vector. So I'm going to be using a fairly large brush to make these shapes. I'll use about a 29 point. And what I'm going to make ends up looking like this. Let me close this image so you can kind of see it. This is what it's going to look like in the end. And the tricky thing about this is, even though Fresco doesn't have a symmetry drawing function at the moment, there is a way to do it. You just kind of have to use a workaround. So I'll show you how to do that. So let me hide this. I'm going to go into my reference layer. I'm going to create a new layer, and then I'll come here with my brush and I'll just start drawing the fan shape. And with the vector brushes, you want to make sure you actually complete the shape, because if you don't, when you go to fill it, you'll fill the entire canvas with that color. So I completed the shape. I'm going to go into my fill and just fill that in black. Now, if I wanted to make more, I could certainly do that, but since I'm just going to show you, I'll do something real quick. Now, I want to duplicate this symmetrically so it's the same on the other side. So the way that you do that is you duplicate the layer, and then you go into the transform function and come up here on the top right and hit the flip horizontally button. And then I can move it over into place, click done. And it looks like I have a symmetrical drawing. So I could keep doing this, and I would do the whole fan shape. And then once I had all of my shapes in place, I would select both of these layers, or however many there's going to be. And then I come over here on the right and click the three dots and then click merge selected. And that will put all of the shapes into one layer, and it looks like you did a symmetrical drawing. You just had to do it a little bit of a different way. So that's all done now. I'm going to show you my finished drawing. And then the last thing, this is what I really like. If you come up here in the top right-hand corner and click this button, you can click Open a Copy Illustrator for iPad or desktop. This will suck the whole file over along with all of your layers. You can edit it in Illustrator. So now we're going to do the silhouette figure. So I've got my reference image. I'm going to do the same thing as with the fan design. Create a new layer. Go back into my vector brush. Let's see, I'm going to change this to black. I'm going to use a little bit of a smaller brush because it's a slightly more dainty image. And I'm going to do this pretty quick. Just to show you, I'm not going to get super fussy about it. And obviously, when I did this for myself, I took just a tiny bit more time. Main thing is always make sure you're completing your shape so that you can fill everything in without filling your entire canvas. So I've got everything sort of vaguely in place. Now I'm going to fill this shape. And as you can see, it is not the cutest drawing I have ever made, but it'll work. So the next thing I want to do is I want to add this little lip shape for her. Let me hide this. That she's going to have. And the main thing is I want that to be on top. So I need to make sure that I'm putting the lips layer on top of the silhouette. So I'm going to come back into my vector brush, change this to something pretty small, about 3.5 or 4. And I want to do this in white. And then I zoom in and just make a little lip for her and fill that in. So now I'm going to turn that off. I've got my two layers. And just like with the fan, I just select both of them and merge them together. And there you go, you've got your silhouette figure. So now we are in Illustrator, and I've got my fan shape. I changed the color of the background a little bit, but you can see sort of how I did it. It's exactly like I showed you. And then I'm going to add my silhouette figure. So before I do that, I want to make the fan shape that's going to go within her dress. So what I do is I duplicate this white fan, and then I'm going to flip it and change the colors. So it ends up looking like this. And I want to do like a pink fan shape and a black background because the figure is black, so it'll blend in really nicely. Now, I'm not going to show you how to do a clipping mask, but that's how I put this shape within the silhouette. And the main thing with the clipping mask that you have to make sure that you do is that whatever shape you want to fill has to be on top. So I'm going to put this within the silhouette figure, so that silhouette needs to be on top. So this is what it looks like once the clipping mask is in place. It looks like she has a little dress, and then you just unhide the last layer, and there you go.